You gotta be kidding me. If you are a Survivor fan and you just watched episode 1, you are screaming from the rooftop. I mean, everything about that was the opposite of, like, what a fan would appreciate or want in a game. I mean, it just doesn't get much worse than that. And, I I'm I am beside myself right now at what I just witnessed. I'm gonna try to go easy on some people. I'm gonna try to be nice, but by the same token, you gotta keep it real, okay? Now, my guests for today, bailed on me last minute, not mad. They had a survivor party that they needed to go to, and my backup I think is bailing on me too. I just got on real quick to see, and so it sounded like they're not going to now. My apologies. So if anybody wants to jump on here live, I can send you a link real quick and we can talk about it. Um, but I just, how do you watch that as a fan and not just you just want to strangle every person on it? I mean, I'm trying to watch this from a fan's perspective because I've never missed an episode, even though I don't remember anything happens because I'm an idiot. But like, I I watch it from a contestant perspective. This is what I would do. This is blah, blah, blah. I don't watch it for necessarily to be entertained. What I failed to realize is posting this in a lot of these different groups is that so many people watch this and could care less about ever being on the show. Don't want to be on the show. They just want to be entertained. And I'm like, oh my god, like I want to be that person. I would love to be that. Jonathan, you want to come on live with me? I need a guest here because I think I had a regular guest and a backup, and crap happens. Um, I'll do that again for the rest of the next, I don't know, 13 episodes or something like that. I'll have a backup as well, and I've got a couple people that have been on Survivor, a couple people that don't want to be on Survivor, and and everything in between. I want all different types of people on here. I want to get a good mix of everything and hear as many different perspectives as possible. So I'm going to get right into it unless somebody wants to jump on here live with me. You know what? Let me see if I can put the link in the comments. And maybe. Oh, look, it's letting me. Oh, Robin. Perfect. Let's see if it'll let me. All right, Robin. Are you here? Robin, you're here.
Baby, I
Touchdown.
told
I
you
was
I was
so
coming on. I
I
had to
was
get
so
in.
worried. I was like, oh no, I think she's bailing on me. Like, what am I
Oh,
gonna do?
I would never do that. I make a promise. I keep my word. I was all excited. I'm like, I'm gonna be on with you, Greg. I'm like,
Woo!
yay!
Oh, that's awesome. So we won't tell everybody who the original special guest was because that person, bless their heart, they got a last second invite to a Survivor party.
Party
No hard.
guy. I've been teasing him with our group admin chat about it. So
Nice, nice. So tell everybody who you are and the name of your group and all that fun stuff.
absolutely. First off, thank you very much for inviting me to be on the page. I'm gonna push yours. I've already liked it. I've told a couple people go join F YouTube channel. I'm Robin Howell. I am the page creator for the largest private FB Survivor fan page. We have almost 65,000 people. We're called Survivor 2023 TV show fan page. I created it back in September 2013. We just hit our 10-year
Wow!
anniversary. Isn't that great, Greg?
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I'm so
awesome.
excited. I was so excited about it. I actually have a team, an admin team for people all over the country. One of them, actually, we used to work together at Social Security Administration. So I've made friends from all over. And of course, one of our special guest stars, I have a funny story to tell. The special guest star actually sent me an IM a few years ago saying, "Hi, I'm special guest star. I really would like to be considered to be an admin on your page." She actually sent me a resume. I was dying. And you know what?
Wow.
I went back and I saw he was active on the page. And I was, I had other admin people on there, but I really liked the special guest star. And he's a lot younger than me, and added a few other people. And we're family. Our admin group chat, we are an absolute family. And here's another funny story. I have other reality pages that are pretty big too. One is Big Brother, and that's a huge one. Well, I had created that page, and my little admin team just follows me to my different pages. I have like 4
Oh
private
my god.
reality pages, and they just follow me along to be admins. One of my admins who used to work with me, she's retired. We were talking the other day on the page. She has never watched Big Brother, but she's an admin. She goes, "I just followed Robin along. She just made me an admin." So here we are.
I have, maybe not during this chat, but I was cast on Big Brother, Easter
Oh,
of 2010, I wanna say? And it's the
oh,
craziest story. So, obviously, I didn't
ooh,
end up going on it, but I'll tell you all about it well, let me just
yeah,
cut to the chase. Long story
yeah.
short, they said that so I'm doing all the paperwork, all the psych checks, all this blah, 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 blah. I'd never seen an episode of Big Brother in my life, and they were like, and this is literally how I got on. The casting director, it wasn't Robin, it was one of her associates. She was like, "Well, why do you wanna be on, Big Brother?" And I was like, "I don't. I could give a rat's," and I cursed. I was like, "I give a rat's butt less." I was like, "Honestly, the only reason I applied was as an FU to Lynn Spillman." That's literally what I said, and she was like, "Oh my god, I want you on the show." And it's just amazing. Like for Survivor, I mean, I filled out 90 something applications over the years before I was even old enough, and multiple years sometimes, and aliases. I've done so many damn things. And then here I am, Big
Aliases, are you
Brother. All I had to do was just be like, I don't want to be on the show. And
kidding?
anyway, they had a clause in the paperwork. I must have been like a last minute person because
Mhm.
usually it doesn't happen that quick. It's a really slow process. But there was a something in the contract that said you couldn't work with SEG, Survivor Entertainment Group, if you were on Survivor. And I was like, well, I'm not going to give up my dream of being on Survivor just so I can do some, Big Brother, which I could
No,
absolutely care less about.
you know
And they're
less.
like, Greg, no one turns down this opportunity. I was like, well, I'm not no one. They're like, we'll give
Good
you an
for you.
extra $10,000. And I was like, the amount of money just doesn't
Good for
matter
you.
at this point. You know what I mean? And
You
so
know
now I'm kicking myself in the butt because people from Survivor have been on Big Brother and vice versa. So anyway,
Yeah,
I,
well, that's in hindsight, you don't know. But,
yeah,
you
yeah.
should I really admire you. I know you post on our page.
Your
It's kind
page
of
is all.
funny what happened the other day, but I've been loving your prior post where you're walking your application to Survivor. I really admire that. That should be a part of your story, how you're doing everything you can, in Survivor. You even turned down Big Brother because you didn't want to give up that opportunity. Heck, I will let you know I'm rooting for you to get on Survivor, and
Well,
I will
thank you.
advertise you. I will on the
I
page.
really
We'll say,
appreciate
okay,
that.
one of our treasured members. I always tell Josh too. The same thing. Is we have other people who are interested in being on that we will support. Say that's one of the criteria. I'll make it a rule. You must support. Greg and whatever. Now, and you know how
Well,
about my rules, Greg.
yeah, yeah, you're good with your rules. So
I'm
let me
consistent.
let me first start this off by issuing Robin a public apology here, because the person I had been talking to in her group on Facebook, which is the largest Survivor Facebook group, which is insane that you've
Private,
accomplished that.
private,
And
the private one.
private, yeah, but I didn't realize that you were the creator. I thought it was the other guy. So I am so sorry for that. I
You're
didn't mean to take credit from you, but
good. You're
to your
good.
credit, you've been nothing but awesome, and that page has been phenomenal. So the most recent time I've walked, just catch the viewers up real quick about myself. Um, I've walked across the country a couple times to
Mhm.
drop off my Survivor application and then to go to the live finale, season 41 after the pandemic. As luck was having, there wasn't even one there. But most recently, I walked to the Put in Bay casting call, and that was only like a 225-mile walk. That was a close one. The other one were
Mhm.
2,000 miles. But each time that the last two walks I've done, I've been able to post in your group, and I've
Yeah,
gotten the best feedback. People have
right.
been so kind, so amazing. There was no haters, there was no drama, and I was like so grateful for that, because as much as like, look, I've had my 15 minutes of fame a few times. I've done like 100 TV shows and reality shows total.
Nice.
I enjoy it. I have fun with it, but I promise you I don't need it. And there's a difference there. But I can tell you that, Survivor, I think it's better to be good than or lucky than good, and I just haven't been lucky yet. You know what I mean? And I think anybody that's watching out there, just you I think there's a millisecond in our life where if they see you at the right place at the right time, anybody can
Right,
get on.
right. We
And
need to do a petition. Get Greg into Survivor. We need to
I
post that
had
on.
back in '09, I had somebody did do a petition, and
Oh
the local news crews went around. They had
yeah.
like
Oh
10,000 digital things on it,
no
and
way.
they I've never heard. Well, we can talk about all that on
Yeah.
another day. I want to get into this episode because this
Mm,
was insane.
I
I
have
mean,
thoughts.
holy moly! So first of all, aren't the season premieres normally 2 hours?
No, yeah, I think they've only you're right, I think they may have been 2 hours. I know they're going to the hour and a half format
Yes.
permanently, which I am so excited about. Because I don't know if you ever saw on
Amen.
Page, we always would complain, "Why are they doing an hour episodes when they have the 2 hours we get all excited?" And you look
Yeah.
at Big Brother. Big Brother's on, like, 3 times a week. I'm like, "Whoa, come on." And then I know I posted a few times, "Well, why can't you maybe twice a week? You have so much footage 24/7. You mean you
Yeah.
can't get 2 shows a week or extend it out?" I mean, we're excited about the hour and a half
Yeah.
extension. It makes it more, for knowing the character, the stars and getting used to them. But I think we'll get a better insight about why some decisions are made. Because right now we're looking at some of the decisions like, why did they make that decision? And it makes me sometimes go back to I'm a supervisor prior before being promoted with my job with the government years ago. I would always wonder, why did they make that decision? What is wrong with them? But once you get into that position and you're seeing it, oh,
Yeah.
that's why they,
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully we can see more of that. But speaking of you and you trying so hard to get on Survivor, and I know because every time I love seeing your posts on the page, and I love the walk and how the energy that you have and the recaps that you do. Then you have those people that Survivor casting, I know they vet, I know they go through psychological tests and all that. Then you have what happened tonight.
Yeah.
People who just give up. I mean, do you
You
know how
know,
many people? Mm-mm,
that's why I started off this live stream by saying if you're a fan, you have to be screaming from the
mm.
rooftop. Do we want to just get into who got voted off, or do we want to start chronologically and work our way
We
up
can
to it?
go chronologically. This keep them waiting. Who won? They probably already know because if they're
Yeah.
true Survivor fans, are listening to this.
Oh,
They've
for
already
sure, for
watched it.
sure. Unless they're in a
Except
different
if they're on the
zip code
West
or something.
Coast or of course, my page. We do
No
spoiler
spoilers.
alert. You
Yeah.
see my spoilers. We discuss it real time. It's been my page mantra from day one. And I'm honest about my rules. I stick to them. I make sure we run a fair page. But yes, let's start from the top. I'm ready. I have
Okay.
notes. I took
So
notes.
right from the top, they're going through and Drew's talking about how he's the smartest person ever, and I'm like, okay. And then Katura, who kind of
I,
there was so little in the cast assessments before this that we had
mm,
so little to go off of. I don't know why. I would love to ask Jeff. I would ask Jeff if I could be the first person that they announce before the show that they're going on the show.
mm,
So that way they could do like a press tour because they've never done that. Can you imagine if they would have given these 18 people a press pat, a chance to go out and spread?
actually, that's not true.
Oh,
I
help
will
me.
tell you why. I've now I'm old enough. I watched Survivor from real time day one. You may not remember this because you're young. You may not remember this. It was actually during the Super Bowl earlier on in Survivor. They would actually, for first couple seasons, they would actually announce, "Be ready, we're going to announce cast on the Survivor," and they would do like two or three at a time, and you would see
Wow.
their faces. This person's from like Siri. This person's from New York. This is They actually had them on before Survivor even aired.
Wow. But
And
they
they
haven't done
had
that
them
in what?
showed, and like, it's been years. And I wish they would do that because I think
Yeah.
it generates more excitement. But
Oh,
yeah,
I couldn't
so
agree more.
that's from me. I don't mean to, say you're
No.
wrong, but that's from me from my 45 seasons of watching Survivor from day one, Richard Hatch. And I tell you,
Yeah.
Sue was my girl. I mean, I don't mince words, and I'm not afraid to say I'm not afraid to speak.
Well, then you might like Emily from this season because she
Uh-uh.
was blunt as blunt could
Mm-mm.
be. I mean, and my first, so I made some talking points here. The very first words out of Emily's mouth, I said, "Oh my God, she's literally going to talk her way right
Yeah.
out of this game," and I think she almost did tonight, but
She
we
did.
haven't quite gotten that far
Oh no,
along
I
here.
don't like Emily. I don't like how her approach. That was like, you have to be more. Your interpersonal is very critical
Oh,
in anything that you are. And I mean, everyone was looking at each other. Bruce, I love Bruce. Yes, he was stupid last season. What was he thinking climbing this huge rock? I kept saying when he was climbing, I'm going, he's gonna fall.
speaking of which, I don't know if you caught this, but the Blue tribe, Blue, I believe is their name.
Yeah,
That rock, I
Balua.
believe, is the same one that Matt fell off of last season.
Oh, it is.
I
I
think
didn't
they're on the
see
same
that.
beach. It looked like that was the same rock that he had fallen from.
I'll have to go back and look at it. Paramount.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe I
check it
caught
out.
that, or maybe all
Yeah.
rocks look the same. I don't know. But yeah, I really thought Emily's gonna talk herself right out of the game. Just in the
Uh,
opening, I mean, she's already arguing with Bruce, and I mean, hello, you just met these people, and look, what did she say? She's like, you might as well vote me off now if I'm not gonna win. You're wasting my time. Like,
yeah.
Oh my
Like,
god.
right, and then we oh, it was awful. Well, we'll get to back when she said the one thing, in camp, oh, for that, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So okay, where are we at here? We're
We're
so
talking about one other thing. I was already hating on Emily. See, I may be page creator, and as long as I can dislike people, now I might grow to love like her. Like you're talking about the one guy, the smart guy. What was his name?
Drew.
Drew. I looked at him and I started thinking about John Cochran.
Yes,
Remember how I
copy paste. So many of these people, you should be in casting, Robin. So many of these people, you can literally find someone just like them the
Mhm,
season before. I get it. It's a mold and it's just
mhm,
easier to fill it, I suppose. But
yeah,
yeah, Cochran and Drew copy paste. There's a few
yeah.
people this season. You'll notice that.
Yes, yes, I did notice that.
Um,
So they're
so
on the
they're on the
boat.
ship. They're not jumping off to get food and all that. They're doing like a challenge right off the
Yeah.
bat. And as they're going up, I'm thinking, God, Brandon looks like he's crying. I'm like, I must be seeing things. 2 seconds later, he's bawling. I'm like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Now
I
I have
was
to give a little
crying.
backstory on Brandon, the little bit that I do have. So there's a guy named Mike Albright. Mike has to be one of the biggest Survivor fans in history. Out of like 660 contestants, he's met like 600 of them. I mean, the
Gee,
guy is
hey,
tried and biggest Survivor fan ever. The guy's amazing. If you don't know who he is, then like I don't know how you can be a fan. I mean, like that's how well known he is in the Survivor community. Well,
I'll have to put his because I don't know that name. Let me put that down. John
yeah,
Albright.
you've got to look him up. The
I've
guy, he
probably
knows.
seen him, but just not come into the
Yeah,
John
he,
Albright. I'll check him out.
so he his he was in a wedding that I officiated, and
Oh,
then Brandon Donlin from this season was in his wedding.
oh
And so that's
no,
my connection to Brandon Donlin through our friend Mike. And
oh
that
no,
was about the extent of what I knew about him. But
yeah,
I was like, okay, this is my guy. This is who I'm rooting for. I don't care. I don't care anything about anything. That's who I'm rooting for. And as I'm watching, I'm like, this can't
no,
be happening. This guy, I mean, Brandon Donlin, he is a super fan amongst super fans, right?
yeah,
He's the top. What when in the past when they would cast, hero or all star season or fans versus favorites and stuff like
yeah,
that. What would drive me nuts is so many of those people weren't what I would consider a fan. You know what I
mhm,
mean? This
mhm,
guy, Brandon, he is a fan. And I
yep,
was relying on one of the best performances ever from a fan so that, for future reference, these casting directors look and go, okay, we need more
yeah.
fans,
That's
real
right.
fans,
I
actual fans.
agree. Yeah.
And I'm watching this going, oh my God, Brandon, what are you doing? He couldn't have represented the fans really any worse.
I felt I was doing this with him. I'm like, "Oh, this
Yeah,
is not good." I mean, he was losing it. I'm like, come on,"
yeah.
and
He had the most like I've never seen like. Okay, so a little backstory on Brandon. He actually, I believe, was cast as an alternate for the prior season or the one
oh,
before
okay,
that. And so, as an alternate, he was actually, I believe, he was flown out and everything.
that's
Which
cool.
imagine the intestinal fortitude it takes to make it all the way out there, and them saying,
Yeah,
"Oh, sorry, we don't have a spot for you." That
I
would
would be
be
done.
the most. I mean, it would break your soul. And so my heart hurt for him when I saw that. He has to know, being as big a fan as he is, the opportunity that he has here and that you
Yes.
don't get many second opportunities. They don't bring returning players back hardly anymore. You know what I mean?
No, no,
He,
no.
of all people, I'm thinking, oh my God, please don't let this moment be bigger than him because he's going to live with this regret the rest of his life if he blows this. And literally every 2 minutes of the episode, I'm like, oh my God, this is not happening. This is not
It's
happening.
not.
He had how many years to prepare for this since he was
I
an
know.
alternate? He had to know he had a pretty
I
good chance.
agree.
When you have years, maybe not years, but he for sure had at least 6 months to prepare. How
Easy.
are you that, no offense, out of shape? You had to have known.
No.
There's no excuse for that. They're just, and I'm not trying to beat him
Well,
up because he
no,
seems like a
no.
nice guy
Yeah.
and I really want him to win. But if I tell you that you're gonna be on Survivor, what are you gonna do for the next 6 months?
I would be working my butt off. I'm
You're
out of
gonna
shape.
be learning fire. You're gonna
Fire,
be,
the
going on
people
walks and
swimming,
runs.
learn to
Yes.
swim. It's like remember years ago, I always scream. Also, Carson, look what Carson did. He gained that weight. Did
Yes.
you see the pictures before and after? I really Carson was my favorite. How Carolyn, I mean, just they seem like the best of buds. I really like
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
dynamic. But Carson was so impressive by his story, and they say giving him that money, just how he was skinny. He wanted this, and he got
Yes.
and he gained that weight, and he was like right there, and he was so personable. He got through it. He wasn't arrogant, but then you also go back. Remember the seasons back? I would always scream. We'd be, well, we have it on my Survivor page. You know, of course, I post on my page. I was very active today, talking about who I liked and did. But our admin team, my admin team, we also have a group chat. I know back in the day for the swimmers, there's how can these people come on the show and not be able to swim? It would always drive me nuts. I'm like, how can you not swim? How? That should be a requirement at least of casting. I know they had those scuba divers under the water in case someone
Yeah.
tries to drown,
Well,
but
they
that is
almost
the
needed them.
safety issues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a safety issue.
You
I'm like,
know,
why?
Brandon's casting video, if you watch it, he was saying how bad he wanted it. He wanted it more than
Mhm.
anything in life, wanted it more than anyone. And I'm thinking, hold up, bro. There's absolutely no way you want it more than me, but let me put my ego aside. And that's a
Yeah,
great answer for a casting director.
right.
I love
That
the
sure
answer.
is.
I just disagree that he wanted it more than anything.
Mhm.
After watching his performance tonight, come on. You wanted it more than anything. You
Yeah,
didn't want it more than swimming lessons. You didn't want it more
yeah.
than, I don't know, some basic exercise. I mean, he just
Just something.
yes, yeah. I mean, and we'll okay. So let me get into that. So
Sure.
he died. First of all, he should not have been diving off for swimming. That was
No.
his first task. He maybe should have had somebody else do that. So he's
Yes.
swimming to the boat to bring it back. He comes back, and he's already winded. He's known for, I guess, panic attacks or something like that.
Yes.
Bless his
Like
soul.
wow.
But he's dangling on that ladder trying to get up, and I'm like, oh my god. He had an adrenaline dump from hell, but he's not going to make it up this ladder.
No, I
And
was
sure
worried
enough,
about him.
he wasn't making it up that
Yeah.
ladder. But one thing that I learned that hopefully all people watching, that all five of you watching us right now that are going to be on Survivor someday, hopefully you learned something from this. Wear one of two things: tighter fitting clothes or less clothes. Because if you notice, the water was bagging him
It was
down. It
dragging you
wasn't
down.
like he had like a saggy butt. His pants were literally
Oh my
soaking
god.
wet. Those, I guarantee you, that wet clothes he had on him probably added another. I mean, I can
Easy.
tell you just from walking across the country wearing getting wet when it rains,
Oh, I bet.
10, 20 pounds you could easily gain if you have that much, if you're that waterlogged. So in addition to being, didn't look like he was in very good shape
Yeah.
and being an adrenaline dump, he's got an extra 10, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 pounds on him just from wet clothes trying to climb up that thing. He was doomed. He was
Right.
absolutely doomed. And I had a moment where I thought maybe they cast him because they know he's gonna quit or he's gonna go home
Yeah.
earlier. He won't be able to finish the challenge. I'm like, please tell me that's not the case, you know?
I hope not. Well, everyone we hear about the cast dresses tells them what to bring and what to wear.
Yes.
So he might have been handcuffed when it came to that,
I
which I get. But you're right. You think the mentality of you work so hard to get on the show. There's so many people like those that quit. I want to throttle them. I mean,
oh,
I
we'll
would
get to that in a second.
oh, okay.
We'll get
Oh,
to that in a
no, I
second,
know who we're
Robin.
talking about. But I felt bad for him. But he seems like he has a nice spirit, though. Just he
Yes.
seemed that he really does. I mean,
Yeah.
and then they had medic look at him and everything. But just from toward the end, and even at some, well, I know we'll get to my not favorite person, Emily, which is from Laurel, Maryland. I'm a Maryland girl. I was all excited.
Okay.
There's two Marylanders. I couldn't believe. Oh my gosh, the one I don't like is from Maryland. But go ahead.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I
Well,
don't want to jump ahead. Go
I
ahead.
no, so they do make you go for a color, but I think he could have worn
Really?
whatever he wanted within the confines of that color.
Oh,
You
I
know,
didn't
I'm
know that.
I'm I'm sure he could have, you know, he could have worn something tighter fitting or dry fit clothing, something that
Good point.
repels sweat or heat or something like that. But,
Yeah.
he finally makes his way back up there and um Hannah says, and this should have been our first sign of who was going home tonight. She says, "It looks easier on the couch." And I'm
Yes.
thinking, who says that? Who says it looks easier on the couch? That sounds like someone that's going to quit. And I'm like, they're not going to do that. Let me say this real quick. Side note: one of the few times after me and Lynn Spillman, the old Survivor casting director, had our
Yeah.
little falling out thing, I had posted on, I don't remember what Survivor group, but I had posted something to the effect of, I bet Lynn Spillman casts people knowing they're going to quit. And sure enough, she liked my post, which confirmed she definitely cast people knowing they're going to quit, right? I wouldn't doubt for a second that maybe when I saw that, I thought, "Oh, maybe that's why they cast Hannah because they think she's gonna quit."
Mm.
We'll get to that in a second.
Or
So,
John Cochran. John Cochran. I swear, when John Cochran, when they were up on that boat, I'm thinking, he's gonna die.
yeah,
He's gonna die in front of us. And then he went, wow, look how he grew.
I'm yes, he grew as a person, and that was fun to watch. And I guarantee you that's why he was cast because they
Mhm.
knew he would grow as a person. And you always see these people like all these cast assessments I did the videos on,
Yeah, yeah.
half of them, literally half of them said that they just wanted to grow as a person. And I that's a great personal reason to
Yeah.
want to do the show, but I want people that are like, I know who I am. I don't care about like growing as a person. I want to make good TV. You know what I mean? I don't. When was the last time we had a villain? Well, a real
Oh,
true
real
villain. It's
villain.
like
Yeah, there's been some good ones out there. We had some good ones. Like,
it's been a while though. I feel like
yeah,
they're
we
just
need one.
casting like nice people with personal growth, which is
Yeah,
great and all, but I want some variety in that.
yeah, I agree.
Uh,
And it's like the last couple seasons, which I have kind of been enjoying this. They don't have like their cliques where we're all going to vote the same way. The last few seasons, week by week, they're all jumping ship and moving over, and that's how the game needs to play. Outwit, outlast, outplay. Not oh,
yeah.
let's form our little kumbaya unit and all vote together. When you're thinking, what are you all doing? Mix it
Have
up.
you noticed? They were. I think somebody termed them voting blocks. So one week
Yeah,
could be a different voting block.
yeah, that.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, good, because you're not stuck to one alliance necessarily.
And it
You know what
gets
I mean?
boring because you know who's going
Yes.
to go every week.
Yeah. Yeah. So they get back to their tribes, and the red tribe instantly notices the weird lettering on the sign.
Very
And I
smart.
thought, oh wow, that was astute because you could tell it was something, but I maybe I would have thought oh, it was just decorations or
Yeah,
something. But as it turns out, which we can talk about later, it's I guess the bottom half of letters to complete
of
a
that.
puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so anyway, I already talked about Matt being on the same beach as or Bellows being on the same beach. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Um, Bruce was doing his best to lower his threat level and then taking charge. And I
I
thought, this is his downfall. What is he thinking? He ought to
yeah.
know better than that.
This is where let me get my notes. I made a note of this. Um, what were well, who was it? There someone one of I can't remember who mentioned on the show saying here Bruce is saying he's going to be Uncle Bruce, but here he's taking charge and ordering everyone around. You got to
I'm
be
not your father, he
careful.
said.
Yeah, I'm not your father, but yeah, it's sometimes you always do have to have some leader. I mean, being a supervisor position, someone does have to rise to
Yeah,
direct, but there's a right and wrong way. And yeah,
absolutely.
he was on the show for a couple days. Maybe he's shown a little bit of not saying some arrogance or confidence that looks like arrogance.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a better way to
Uh,
word it.
of the two older people on the tribe, my prediction was Bruce was actually the one that they would look at as a fatherly figure, and
Hmm.
Julie, the other older white lady,
Hmm.
that was the one that the younger kids were gonna like be like, oh, sorry, we're not
Yeah,
letting you in our group.
we're
Maybe I
still.
had it backwards, but if you notice this cast, they're almost all the same age. They even
I
said
know.
that at one point. They were all 29 years old and born in
Yeah,
September or something like that.
I noticed
It's
that. Yeah.
like, I mean, that's a bond, being able to
Mhm.
relate with people. That's a great, the other bond that I'd like to see play out is this lawyer bond. There's a ton of lawyers
Yeah,
on the show this season.
yeah,
Um,
I like Katora. Actually, I am pretty impressed by Katora right now, just from the brief. She has a good plan. Like I'm not saying I'm an attorney, and then when oh look at Jake. Jake is attorney, and how everyone's going oh, and she's playing it up like oh tell me about being an attorney. I think
yeah.
she has a smart survivor mind. I was very impressed by her and how she seems very strong woman it seems, and I think she's going to do well. I think, hey,
Well,
but you know.
Julie, the attorney, I think is going to completely backfire. She's hiding it. She doesn't want anybody to know she's an attorney. That I mean, you can only hide who you are for so long. You know what I mean? But it's not that it's really hard to
Oh, I
hide who
thought it
you
was
are for the.
Katora. I thought it was Katora that was the attorney.
I think there's three attorneys or
There's
four
a, but
attorneys.
I think
Jake,
Katora. I thought Katora was the one that she was hiding. You say she's an attorney, but she was hiding it. Well, yeah, Julie. I didn't know Julie was speaking out about that. I'm looking at
yeah,
my.
yeah, Julie
Okay,
did
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Unless I'm
That's a
crazy,
smart
which
play.
yeah. So, 40, 30, 40 or yeah, 40 minutes into the episode, I did a cardinal sin. You have to forgive me, and I'm going to need your help on this.
Go ahead.
There is a Starlink satellite thing that they launched like 40 of them, and you could only see it at 8:38 p.m. So I
Okay.
ran outside, and I'm like, okay,
You have to do
please,
that.
please, my special guest tonight, please be watching at the same time because I'm gonna miss this. I didn't want to miss it, but I had a ton of people from my dance studio that were like, "We got to see this. We don't want to miss it either." And I'm like, "Okay, give me a minute." I went outside. It's cloudy. I'm like, "Crap! I can't see the Starlink satellite." Can you imagine being on Survivor and seeing that thing fly by? But
Oh, I can't
anyway,
imagine. Gorgeous.
I'm I'm just like out there. I'm like, no, no, no. And then finally it started going by. If you haven't seen that, Survivor aside, guys, I don't know what state you can see it at what time, but at least
I'll have
I'm
to
in
look.
Cincinnati, Ohio. Tomorrow night is the last night you can see it because the satellites go 352 miles above us and they get so high that you can't see them anymore. So I
I'll
could
check
see
it out.
I don't know what how many miles above it was, but airplanes are only 6 to 8 miles, so I know it was higher than that. And they're like 500 pounds. They're the size of a coffee table, and that's what like how Ukraine is getting internet and stuff like
Mm,
that.
mhm.
So it's the future of the internet, and I
Oh,
had
yeah.
to, as much as I didn't want to miss Survivor, I ran outside for like 15 minutes to go see these satellites flying by. So forgive me.
Okay.
What did I miss in between the sweet and savvy? Am I saying that right? Sweet and savvy,
Sweet,
is that what it
sweet,
was? When I
sweet,
came back,
sweat
Austin
and
took
savvy, sweat and
sweat.
savvy.
Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. Sweet and savvy.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
Sour Patch Kids. So what happened between when I came back in, Austin took out the clue, but I don't know what happened prior to that. They
Okay,
were
now I
they
have
were
to think
carrying
back.
heavy
Oh
stuff.
man, because I was taking notes off and on. Oh man, I didn't know you would do that. Let me think. What happened prior to that?
They were
Okay.
carrying something heavy, but I didn't catch
Oh, the logs, the one back and forth, the logs. You mean they were
something like
doing
that.
the sweat and savvy? Yeah, they had to. All three teams had to go to the sweat and savvy to where they could earn their machete and their flint and some basic tools, and they had a certain time frame they had to do this. They had to lug all these logs from one place over to another. And those suckers were heavy. And
They
they had
looked
like some small people dragging it. I gotta admit, some of them were like, oh man, I'm gonna get through this. They were really, really trying, particularly the women. They were like hauling it, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna give up. I'm like, yeah, go. And once they got all the logs over, there was this hourglass and there was this puzzle that had a rope, and you had to get the rope all through the puzzle while the hourglass was going. All three teams made it there, some not at the same
oh,
time, and they're trying to work the puzzle and they're watching the hourglass. Of course, some of them are watching what the other teams are going. That's something
yeah.
that drives me nuts. I think somehow they should have like petitions up, like or something, or if you once you solve the puzzle, you need to knock that puzzle down or turn it upside down. Because I'm not giving anyone an advantage if I play Survivor. But they're trying to figure out how do I get this rope all the way through to win. None of them got it through.
Oh,
None. They couldn't do it. So all three boats went back, and that's where all the suspicion started. Because when someone goes away and they come back with nothing, they come back and their tribe mates know that, oh, good, they're going to have their machete and they're going to have their flint. Every single one came back and said, we didn't get it. None of us did. Well, I think it was my unfavorite girl, Emily. I think it was the one, Emily. Emily was saying, they were talking sidebar. They didn't come back with anything. How do we know that they didn't get some sort of secret advantage or something like that? Of course, everyone was buzzing on the side, and actually, they were telling the truth. No one got it, but there's suspicion being raised
uh,
because we know once you go out and you come back and you're away from that tribe, all the little antennas are up and all the little gossiping's going. Can you
yeah.
believe? Can you not? So that's basically what happened there. They no one passed the sweat versus Savi. The sweat was dragging the logs and the savvy was trying to figure out the puzzle. And they had a time frame they had to do it on. Those logs were huge. I don't know if you're going to go back Paramount Plus. Go back and take a look at it. It was pretty impressive, particularly the size of those logs and some of the smaller people who were hauling them, and they were the ones that want to be there. You can tell they
So
want to be there.
so I heard somebody in the beginning of that. I thought they said there'd never been a tribe that hadn't accomplished that, but you're saying none of them made it.
None of the tribes finished that challenge
Oh
to get
wow.
any a machete or anything. No one won it, and they literally, and
Oh
that was the
man.
truth. No one got through it, and they would show it, and of course they didn't show the hourglass not ending. They come back, all three boats coming back, and they all said they didn't get it, which I believe because they were all struggling with that last part. It seemed to be a little complex puzzle. It was like a maze metal thing it looked like with this rope, and they're just trying to get it through and they just couldn't feed it figure out untangle it. It was really, you it didn't look like it was hard, but once you saw them working on it, it was hard.
Huh.
So, and they legitimately did, and of course, everyone's not believing them. You
Yeah.
know, no
Yeah.
one believes anybody. I would be,
Oh,
you know what? I tell things, I would be the best Survivor player ever because I told my admin team, my Josh and Faith and all them, I said, I'll be voting your butts out so fast. You wouldn't- I don't care if you're out, you're gone.
so what when I came back in though, I saw Austin took the clue, and the clue was the bottom half, I think, for the idol.
I
But how did he get that clue?
He was out wandering around and he found the clue. He was like, well, looking
Oh,
for an idol, and it was, oh, and you see him running around. Oh, I got an idol. Then he saw it, went, oh man, and then he realized, oh my gosh, that's the on the bottom of the sign. He said, this matches what's on the bottom of the sign, and not much really happened after that. So he has it. I don't know what they called it. It's not an idol. It's a I can't remember the
advantage
word.
of some kind?
Not advantage. I think advantage or challenge or something advantage. He has to do something with it. Now, right now, I can't remember
Oh,
what it is, but that is a bottle puzzle right within the camp. So he's looking at it. I have to go back and remember the words they used. But he was really excited and he was like, oh, okay, okay. So yeah, he was out hunting. A few
I
people have already started hunting, but not a lot.
I think I caught the bottom part of it. It looked like
Mhm.
it was dig something. So
Yeah,
I assume when he holds it up, it'll say dig for the clue's got to be dig
yeah,
under the
right
sign or
there.
something.
And
You know
that's
what I
what I
mean?
think it's going to be. I think it's going to be somewhere in sight, and he's going to have to be strategic about it.
Yeah. It'll be cool to see what kind of twists and stuff they have. And I hope this year that Survivor, as good as Survivor editing is, that underneath each player's bio or name or whatever, it'll say all their advantages, because sometimes they have so many it's hard to keep up
Yeah.
with.
Well, they did that last season, though. Remember they had
Yeah.
little who had idol and stuff. They did do
Yeah.
that, but it is a good. I like to know too, just to keep track, because it's hard to keep track of all that, particularly how
Yeah.
people are shifting back and forth and what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, there were definitely a ton of them the last season. Um, so we get to the immunity
Hmm.
challenge, and
Hmm.
again, all I can think about is Brandon Donlin not getting up that ladder, and I'm like,
I
how
was
is he gonna?
too. We were great
I
minds.
mean, how's
I
he
was
gonna get
thinking
through
he's
this
gonna
this
die.
challenge? I'm
I
thinking
guess
what he should do is he should strip down just to his boxers, because when you go into that mud, you know what mud does? Mud is even worse than water.
worse. You
So
sink
you
it.
you think climbing that ladder, that extra 15 pounds of water that's soaked into your clothes, you think that's bad? Wait till you see this mud on you. And his pants were falling off. You,
Falling
you could
down.
see, you got mud in your pockets and mud just on your. I mean, you could put a couple pounds of mud on each arm. And
You're
and I'm like,
gone.
this is just it's unavoidable. And then I see the ramp where you're supposed
Mhm.
to climb up and get everybody up there, and I'm like, oh my god, maybe
I'm
he can like take off a shirt or twist it around his arm, and they can just drag him
right.
up by it. But I've
That
never seen
is.
anybody use clothing to
I
get
know.
up that ramp.
But they used the
Well,
buffs. That buff, that was
tonight,
like I made notes. That was such strategic. Use those buffs. They're
that's the
strong.
correct me if I'm wrong. That's the first time I've
Mhm.
seen people use the
It
buffs
is
like
the
that.
first time ever. I can tell you from I've watched every season, every episode. When they did that, I put it in my notes. I went, that's brilliant because they used two of them and they're using kind of like his hand. Okay, tie them together,
Yeah,
pull you up. That was smart. I'm like, and then
yeah.
Jeff would say, will the buffs hold? They're pretty dang strong buffs. I have some buffs myself. I order, I just keep, to have, but they're yanking them up. But I thought the same thing too. I thought he was going to die in front of us again. I literally, I said, he's going to die. There's going to be a death in front of us on Survivor. It's just going to be it. Because I'm thinking, how is he going to get through this? But and then when he got pulled up there, you could tell he was like,
Yeah, I just couldn't believe here I am thinking, take off your shirt to pull yourself up, and then they use buffs for the first time. I'm like, man, am I psychic? I actually had a moment where I felt smart for the first time in a long
yeah.
time.
And
But
I'm thinking, why didn't I think about that? I'm like, that is so simple.
yeah, yeah,
Use
I don't
what
know
you
if it's
have.
was that what did the ramp look bigger than normal ones, or was it normal size, or could you tell?
I think it was a medium-sized ramp. Actually, that was a new challenge because I don't ever recall seeing that particular challenge just from what I could see, or there's been so many challenges. But I think it was a mid-sized ramp. I think they've had bigger. But yes, but it was definitely a challenge because you have to have to figure out how do we make a body chain to get everyone up. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. I can see. And some of the people in better shape than others and can't get up. I mean, I give Brandon credit. He did try. He did. He's not. He's trying to get through it. He's pushing through. I give him credit for effort.
Oh,
For
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. He was giving it all. His just body wasn't letting him give what he needed to
yeah,
give to
yeah,
excel, I guess. But they ended up getting through that challenge, but unfortunately, they lost. They lost,
yeah.
and then they gotta go to tribal council. Tribal council looks epic as can be.
I like
The scenery looked
oh, it's
awesome, just as it always does.
gorgeous. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do a great job with that.
They do. I was admiring. I'm like, oh, this is a nice set. It's more open. I don't like some of the seasons where it's more enclosed. It's like, oh, it seems like it's like a claustrophobic. It was so open and refreshing to me. That's what I thought.
I wonder when Fiji's rainy season is, or if they have one.
Oh, they do. It's probably coming up. Usually they have some bad rain. Was it 2 seasons ago they had the hurricane and they had to
Yeah.
evacuate? This
Yeah,
might be
yeah, yeah,
time
yeah.
because they do it twice a year. This past season they didn't have to do it, so it might be coming up where we may see something like that.
I could see them using a tighter set during the storm season,
Mhm.
whatever their storm season is, because it's easier to cover or
Yeah.
protect, I guess. But they all walk in there, and Brandon's smiling, and I was like, okay, like that's odd because we just got done listening to them all talk about, oh, who's going home, and Emily is just talking herself
Yeah.
right into getting voted out.
Mhm.
She couldn't have done a worse job. Caleb and
Sakura,
Sabaya,
Sabaya, yeah.
I guess that's how it's pronounced. She
Sabaya, yeah.
instantly links them two together, which I thought they were just talking. They like
Yeah.
I didn't see like some,
I didn't
whatever
see
she
that.
saw, I didn't see.
And they're
I'm,
even looking at each other saying
yes,
they
yeah,
really honestly
exactly,
look, what is she talking about? But everyone
exactly.
thinks she's crazy. She's crazy. Emily's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, she's an analyst, and boy,
Mhm.
does she fit that role. She is over analyzing her. She,
Mm,
in my opinion, was going home tonight if
I
the
think so too.
craziest things wouldn't have happened. So let's talk about who went home, why they went home, how they went home,
Let's do it.
and all that crazy stuff. The first inkling I had as to who would be going home, there was a key line. I don't know if you caught it. Hannah said that she missed or she needed nicotine.
Nicotine. I
I
heard that.
I heard that and it took instantly. I was like, "Oh, she's quitting tonight," because we already had that context clue earlier when she was saying she said
There,
something earlier.
I don't have nicotine. She was dragging along. Remember, they were down at their beach site, and she's going, "Well, I have no nicotine." She did say that. I was thinking that's something
There
interesting to say. It was earlier
there
on in
was
the
a
episode.
there was a guy, I don't remember his name, and it's been quite a few years now, but he was a heavy smoker, and he ended up quitting because
Mm.
he needed a cigarette so bad. And again, it took me back to that Lynn Spillman. Okay, they cast people knowing they're going to quit, and when she said nicotine, I said, oh, that's they cast her knowing she's going to quit. But there's still like a large percent of me that thinks like Brandon is getting voted out. I mean, he couldn't have played a worse game. He
Yeah,
couldn't have
and
been any weaker.
even Emily, I gotta say, everyone was surprised. Even Emily said, "Well, I really think Brandon should go." She's being one thing about it. She's definitely in Survivor, you also have to watch what you say. Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen my page. I'm about the zip the lip strategy. Everyone on the page laughs because I'm screaming at people. Why are you telling your bestie that you have an idol? Trust no one. I
Yeah.
would tell Josh, Faith, any of my. I'm like they would be knowing I had anything because you're in there for the fight and you don't talk. You go "Boop," and then it's like come on. It's like
Hannah's the kind of person that you want to have with you every step of the way because she's disposable. She's
yeah. Oh,
disposable at any minute. She's a number. She's not a threat in any way, shape, or form.
get rid of.
She and in all honesty, is as far as challenges go, she probably could have outperformed Brandon in the challenges.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to keep her. They're not going to vote her out. They're going to either make her quit or she's just going to have to quit
Yeah.
or they're going to put somebody else out because I wouldn't have wanted her going home in that situation. And I'm sure Emily was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Emily, she got so fixated on Sabaya and Caleb. That
I
was
know.
just
I think
dumb.
she needs to get off of maybe she'll grow a little bit. Maybe she'll start playing the game a little bit more. This is only the first episode, but I had a distaste for her within the first 10 minutes. So for me, I'm like, I gotta step back. It could be changing. You don't
Yeah.
know.
She
But
was
yeah,
very off-putting. But then again, if I'm Brandon or if I'm Sean or Caleb or Sabaya, that's somebody I also want to keep around because I know she's going to annoy everyone so bad
that's my
that it'll
shield.
keep the target off. Exactly. I really thought Hannah and Emily were two of the best shields that that tribe could have possibly
Oh,
had, you know?
agreed.
But God, Brandon's performances were so bad. I mean, how could Caleb and Sabaya not consider getting rid of Brandon? How could they not consider that?
I
I mean,
know. I mean, just for the challenges, but Hannah wanted to go, and I know we all know how Jeff feels about quitters, and
yes,
at least
but
she didn't quit.
Jeff is so disingenuous to that because he knows people are cast because they're gonna quit. So
Mm-hmm.
he can pretend like he's mad, but deep down he knows exactly why Hannah Rose was put on Survivor and so many
Yep.
other people that have quit. In my opinion, maybe if I that's one thing if I ever hopefully I'll get to meet Jeff in January, depending on how crazy life gets. But if that happens, you better believe that the one of the questions I want to ask him is how many times have you successfully predicted the winner of Survivor? Because that'll tell you a lot.
I think that I know we were in our chat the other day, you had mentioned that. I thought
Yeah.
that's a really I think that's a great question because you can kind of look and see, of course, some of the winners can surprise you because some people you wonder there's been some juries where they voted just because they didn't vote according to outlast, outplay. They voted because they were mad that they got outwitted, outlast, outplay. I have issues with that. Because say if I were on Survivor, same thing with Big Brother. If I wouldn't want to be cast for Big Brother, but I'm really into that show. I have a huge page too. But with Survivor, if I were at the end, or if I got thrown out, but somebody was strategic, backdoored me, and you get my vote because I would say, okay, this person compared to this person, what did they do? You have to take apart the emotion. You got to separate that. You can't have that when you're voting. It's about outwit, outlast, outplay. That's what it's about. And
Survivor editing is so good. I never predict the winner ever anymore. It's like they because they don't like. I'll give you a perfect example. Gabler
yes,
should not have received one vote based on how well they edited it. But then
hmm
afterwards, when they went back through and talked about it again, every single player was like, "Yeah, it was so obvious. Like there was no other even close to anybody else was going to win. It was definitely going to
hmm
be Gabler." And
hmm
that's the beauty of Survivor editing. They do that to throw
hmm
us off. So,
hmm
who knows if that's what they were going for here? But while I'm talking to you, though, I just got a text from my friend Mike, that's friends with Brandon Donlin, and he
good.
said he's fine. He calmed down now. Emily will be next to go. And look, after what we witnessed tonight, I don't doubt for a second
I don't
that
doubt either.
Emily, you know what I
Uh,
mean? Because I mean, let's face it, that tribe is a mess. They're
it's
with
I have
with
Emily's a hot mess. Well, here's a question about that. It's the worst thing you can do or try to do. I think they're going to throw the challenge so they can vote her out.
you might be onto something there. It's so early on to think that, but if
Mm,
they're going to throw the challenge to vote her out, she's going to have to be way more annoying than she's
yeah.
annoying. She's plenty
Oh
annoying,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
she's going to have to step it up way more
Wait.
than that just
Wait.
because we're nowhere near the merge or anything
No.
like that when you would be
No.
more likely to consider throwing a challenge, but
Mhm.
um I don't know. I mean, it look, Brandon hopefully he got all that the jitters out. You know,
Mhm.
like
I think he has. I think he might pull it together. I do think he's going to be okay.
it's you want to peak at the right time in Survivor,
hmm
but you also want to get your lows out of the way, and he could
hmm
not have gone any lower. I mean, I can't imagine if he's watching himself back going anything other than that is the absolute worst I
yeah.
could have possibly done in a million years. And he got it out of the way. Now he has no fear. You know, how can you have fear of failure when you've just failed as bad as possible and lived to tell about it? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah. Really.
he's either as long as his tribe. So I noticed something interesting about him that I don't normally see here. You don't normally hear people brag about as being an asset. He was saying that his asset to the tribe was comforting other people, and I'm like, comforting other people. You can
They
comfort
were
me with that $1 million at the end of the game, but
They
comforting?
were comforting him. They were saying
Yes, that's
it's okay. He was crying. I've never seen. I'm not a crier. If I cry, there's something major, major. I've never seen a grown man cry so much. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you
yeah,
doing? I mean, maybe too. There's nothing. Please no. Please, people don't scream. There's nothing stereotypical about that. Some people are just emotional, and I think
yeah,
he needs to rein those emotions in. But
yeah,
I think working with the people he's working with, he'll get his feet wet and he'll start saying, "Okay, I made it 3 days," and he was lucky. He
yeah,
was lucky he wasn't didn't go because I think, to be honest with you, even though Emily drove me nuts, absolutely insane, he would have been my vote just for out of the how to keep the strength of the tribe
yeah.
together. But Hannah wanted to go, and I'm glad they did respect that because in their head, and also when they were talking on the beach, do you really want someone who's not in it? in it to win it,
Yeah.
and in the early stages, you have to come together as a team. You have to try to win these challenges. Here's a question. You're talking about meeting Jeff. We're talking about, I'm just going to kind of go left turn for a minute. It drives a lot of people nuts. You know when Jeff is constantly chattering during the competitions? Everybody, shut up. I think he has a strategy behind that to maybe distract the players because I'm surprised no one's turned to him and said, shut
I have seen one episode where somebody said, "Shut up, Jeff," and like
Oh, I think I
I,
remember that one.
I
Yeah, he's
don't
like,
remember who
yeah.
it was. But it
It
was
was,
fairly
I
recently
think I
though.
do remember that. I'm surprised more haven't because I would have.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guarantee you people have, but they edit it out. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, good
again, they only
point.
show us so much, and if it's not relevant to
Yeah.
whatever's going on, then they're not going to show us that. I mean, believe me, if we watch that whole challenge, there were probably quite a few curse. They did bleep the
Oh,
one girl. They censored her mouth. Did you
oh
see
yeah, I
that?
saw that when she's going through the mud crawl with balls.
Yeah. God, who was that? Kendra, maybe?
Yeah, I think Tira. She was the one that was having awful problems in the beginning.
Yeah.
Katura? Katira?
Katura.
I think it was her
Yeah.
that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was loving that. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I think I would love a Survivor maybe at the end of the season. Just do a whole maybe a special, a 2 hour special on things that they just didn't air because they didn't have the time that we might be of interest.
Oh,
Or they should. They could make bank on that. Don't you
they
think they can make bank?
the last few years I finally noticed that there's like a Survivor YouTube channel that will it's like in another language, so I don't know
Huh.
how they're getting the footage, but they will put out like 1 to 2 minute clips of stuff that they didn't show, that were like hidden behind the scenes things. But it's
Mhm.
not a Survivor channel, but it's like a someone has like hacked into the footage almost. Like I don't know where they're getting it from, but I'll
Mm,
try to send it to you if I find it because it is interesting.
yeah.
They do give you some insight as to stuff that was going on behind the scenes that we might
Yeah.
not have noticed. Because you got to edit down. My God, what 72 hours of
Oh,
footage
it's
for 1 hour?
7, yeah, it's at least they have an hour and a half now. I still don't understand why they don't have it more than one time a week. But what I found interesting with last year, I kind of enjoyed. They had more of behind. I hope they do it again this year. More behind the scenes with the actual crew and everything. They had some things with that. I like that. I really enjoyed seeing that. I always look on YouTube for my channel for like behind the scenes or special articles
Yeah.
for that post on the page because I find that interesting because those people are out there too. Yeah, they're living in the luxury. I don't know if you realize this in season 1 of Survivor when it first started. Jeff was actually living in the same type of conditions as the Survivor players.
Yeah, yeah,
Then they
yeah, the good
upped it
old
a
days.
little bit. They upped it a little bit to give them more
Yeah.
comfort there. But I would like to see that. I like to see the behind the scenes, and then when they show you how to do the competition, I look at them. They're getting all muddy. They're in there showing. Oh, I'm freezing up. Yeah,
Oh, you're
they're
fine.
all in there. Doing showing and doing the activity, getting all muddy. That has to be a cool job. Would you like to have that job?
You know what I keep saying, like, if I get to meet Jeff, I feel like the most I can ask of him is to put me on the dream team. And if you noticed in the credits tonight, the first time I ever noticed it, they were scrolling through, they did list and credit all the people from the dream team on there.
I'll have to look at that. Okay, I'll have to look
Y-
at that. I've never
Yeah,
paid
slow
attention.
down the credits and you'll actually get
Yeah.
to see the names of the people. But and so some people that have been on the dream team did end up getting on the actual show, but at the
Oh,
very least, I would settle for that just so I could at least be like, okay, I got something out of it. You know what I mean? Like, as much as it's
yeah.
not what I want, it would at least I don't
You're
know what
the
closure looks like for me, but I'm hoping through this experience. I've never done these lives before. I've never done cast assessments and all that. I'm
yeah.
hoping
They're
for
really
my
good.
own sanity, I can find some semblance of closure you know. So thank you for helping me be part of that because it's been a journey, Rob, and I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
Uh,
I would
well,
really like
I'm
this. Uh,
cheering for you. Try to maybe you get in. Oh, by the way, repost. Did you repost those? Because while I was working, I telework. Did you repost those links? Please repost those cast assessments. I turned off that filter, so it should be okay. So please put them back up because
well,
that is an asset to everyone to see. You took the time and care to make those
well, thank
assessments,
you for
and
that.
I enjoy reading that. Please, I know I encouraged you last
It,
night. Do that. I turned everything off. The spams off. I know this morning was weird that spam filter why and then Faith had said on my admin team she thinks it's because you put something you commented to someone and shared it and FB did that because Facebook they have something called community standards and
yeah.
on our admin assist page which I took a snapshot of one part of it the log for you we will get FB will come in and remove a post and then we go and look and say
Oh
okay it's
wow.
oh yeah A lot of people don't realize we don't remove all these posts, like with what happened with you. I No one flagged that as spam.
Yeah.
Facebook flagged it because remember I showed you the picture. They somehow have metrics to identify it. There have been some posts where they said it's against community standards, and my team, we look at it, we're like, "There's nothing wrong with this." So we wonder what they're thinking. But there have been others where they said this violated bullying and threats. I looked at
Yeah.
one the other day. We actually got to see the post and went, "Oh yeah, that did," and I banned that person because we can manage the members, and
Yeah.
it's up to us to decide what to do with the member. But with that, if you get a lot of those violations, they can look at shutting your page down.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's why I'm always telling everyone, please be respectful. And my page is about that. Don't We want to talk Survivor? Yes, we can agree to disagree, but sometimes there's like bad situations, like with that Mike guy, the one season with
Oh,
inappropriate.
yeah.
My page went off the chart. We were battling and blocking, and
Oh,
we were
wow.
like turn off comment because people were getting nasty about
Yeah.
it. I'm like, no, we can discuss this, but don't be like that. I mean, have fun. Its purpose of this is to have fun. I think people, it's a reality show. People take it too much to light. It's
Yeah.
something fun, but don't turn it to where people are going to be unhappy and uncomfortable, and don't attack people. I mean, there are times where I'm admin, well, I'm also page creator. I tell my admin team, we're Switzerland. I'm going through some posts. There's some posts I'm like, you know what? I don't like that post, but I'm not going to block it because it meets all the rules. I'm like, what are they talking about? They're nuts. But I don't do it, and I just keep scrolling. I sometimes make a comment, say, hey, have you thought about this? But I do it respectfully.
Yeah.
That's what people need to do. Well,
Well,
you need to keep trying to get on Survivor, please.
oh,
I'll
well,
get you on there.
I'll tell you, it's it's almost killed me once or twice, that's for sure, but, I don't know, I would like to finish my last walk where I was in that bus crash, but, they haven't
Yeah.
done a live finale,
That's
so it's like I'm
awful.
walking to nowhere, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how do I finish this? So I assume we would have known by now if there's a live finale this season. My guess is there's not. But
Not.
even if they had a live reunion show, I would pick up my
Yeah.
walk to that. But I don't think, as far as I know, they're not doing a live reunion show because I like seeing them afterwards when you see them, like what they look
Yeah.
like. And
After they put the weight back on. Yeah. What are your kind of thoughts now? I know season one, the first couple seasons, new season one, they announced the winner right there, and then it went to, for a lot of years, we had to wait until the Survivor thing. I kind of think it's exciting for them to hear it then, but I do like the live
yeah,
reunion
they could
shows.
do both.
I
I mean, they could
They
do
can
it
do
live
both.
on the island, and my guess is though you probably want as few people as possible knowing who actually won, and they can control that a lot better if they read it, months later. Basically, I mean, if you're a good player like Gabler, he probably would have been smart enough to know. Okay, I got every single vote. You know what I mean? Like, so he probably would have known, but he would have known he won, but he wouldn't have known. You know what
No,
I
yeah.
mean? Whereas now, you know,
They
so, I mean, all these people, every single person this season probably knows who won this season already, and that's just too many loose lips sink ships. You know what I mean?
But I
And
know they signed that confident, the NDA. I can only imagine how tight that is, but I give them all credit for them knowing who won then, to zip the lip. I mean, sometimes people might slip. Now, I would zip my lip. As a supervisor, I gotta zip my lip sometimes
so
because we're not told from our upper management, you can't talk about that. So,
let me comment on that real quick. So I noticed Brandon Donlin was liking or commenting on some of the posts that I was in, and I'm like, wait a minute. The season did he get voted off first because the season hasn't even started yet, and he's already on here commenting? I didn't think you were allowed to get on your Facebook and social media until after after the season
that,
had already
I mean,
ended.
that's a good point. I don't know. I would think that if that were a rule, he wouldn't do it. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a good point. That's interesting. That's
I mean,
interesting.
here's the other thing too. If he posts a picture and he is bone skinny, then we know he made it pretty far.
Right, right. You have a very good point. So I guess they have to be. Maybe they are still allowed to use their social media, but they're given rules. Like there's nothing wrong with liking a post. It doesn't mean I know.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
they're just reading, and they might be appreciating different fans, feedback and everything.
yeah.
I know. With Carolyn, I like Carolyn, and I like Carson from last year. That's quite the team there, and she was active. She's pretty active on Instagram. So is Carson, but. Maybe they just know what they can and cannot do. I mean, I haven't really seen any issues with them, a survivor castmate identifying who won. I think the
That
first time that would happen, they would shut it down. They would
that
just wait until the live reunion.
there was somebody, I can't, he's a fitness instructor on YouTube now. I can't think
Uh-huh.
of his name, but he wasn't allowed to, he wasn't allowed to go to the live finale back then because he had posted a picture with like one of the girls he met on the show or something like that. Like
I
something
heard
that
about that. Yeah, I had heard
um
about that too. Yeah, they're strict on that where they won't let you come back for certain things. It's like what's it? Hanson Wentz, the villain. What's it? I can't remember his name. Um,
Brandon.
yeah, Brandon. Yeah, there's certain ones they won't allow back, which as they should be.
Yeah.
Don't allow back. But I bet they have the tight rules. I would just not. I would be. No one would know. Not even my husband would know. Oh, I would be so zipping. I'm like, wow, look what's happening this week. I'd be playing so
Yeah.
dumb.
The Brandon one's a crazy one.
Oh yeah.
I so I'm gonna make this a long story short. Brandon had I went out to the live finale with him as his guest, whatever season that was, and then his returning season, me and another guy were going out with him, and actually I gave him money for like our hotel and everything, and that was the season he ended up getting booted from. So we ended up getting screwed out of everything, the money we put down on the hotel and tickets,
Oh
and
man.
Brandon never did pay us back for that. So Brandon, if you're
Uh,
watching out there, you owe me $500.
hey, you
Um,
know what? There's some integrity. It's all about integrity, and you
yeah.
need to have that. Well, I just hope you get in. I mean, I do enjoy all your posts in the previous years. Please continue doing what you're doing on the
Well,
page,
thank
and
you.
the one thing that I was firm on, it's consistent for everyone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that's fair. We work that out. But I appreciate what you do, and you're
Yeah.
definitely a big super fan, and people like you is who I want on the page to interact. I mean, we have different views coming in, and you have a different perspective from your way, and I have a different perspective. That is what it's all about. It's not about fighting, infighting. It's
Yeah.
just about, wow, look at these characters develop, and what a great dynamic. You look at it, you're taking these people, you're throwing them on an island away from their families, nothing. Now, I have to say, I am happy with Survivor. How in the beginning it was really rough. I mean, that was sort of season one. And then in the middle, they got kind of cushy.
Yeah.
Now they're back to where that's how it should be. It should be, okay, you're having the
Well, I think
minimal
they have
stuff.
to just because it's so much shorter. They have to make it
Oh,
harder.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I wish they would
um,
go back longer, but
yeah.
I
Well, if
miss
they
that.
gave us more episodes, I don't care as long as they give us, the most viewing time ever. Which this 90-minute thing, I'm all about that. I'm definitely enjoying the 90
Yeah.
minutes. No doubt about it. Yeah, I just, man, this season though. I mean, my God, this Yellow Tribe could not have gotten off to a worse start. I
Oh,
mean,
I felt so bad for them. Just, are they going to win
how does this end for them? It's like you can almost see the writing on the wall. It's like Emily's gone next, and if they
anything?
keep losing, because Brandon's dragging them down, then he's gone after that. And then you essentially have Caleb, Sean, and Sabaya. And what do they
Yeah.
do? Make a merge or something?
Or they do you do a switch up like the okay, everybody, let's draw a buff. I
Drop your
sometimes look at
buffs.
that, draw a buff, let's do a split. I sometimes when you look at that, I get it, it's a game, it's a reality show, and some of these different idols, I think they're going a little overboard on that because you get people who really work hard and somebody gets lucky and get an idol. If they don't zip their lip, they keep their lip zip there, they do better. But then you had the point where someone's kind of build something on their tribe. Okay, let's split up tribes, and then you go to one tribe, you get the bad luck of the draw, you're the minority, everybody else, like you're most likely getting booted out. There's been times where there have been some great players where I'm like, the person's going to get booted. They're great because we're banding together. Your butt's gone. They're an easy vote. I know they do it for the game. I get it, but we just have to accept that and take a deep breath and move on. But
So
that's the
who's your
world.
winner? Who are you predicting?
I'm not ready for that yet. I was so busy on my hatred of Emily. Like, what is she doing? I
Yeah.
think though she's a Maryland girl, okay? She may come around. I mean, sometimes you see people change. I do kind of like actually Jake. Jake is kind of funny. Was he the one crawling around on the ground? Who was the one
He's the one
crawling
living
around
with
the
his grandma trying to move out, but
yeah,
he's an
yeah, move
attorney.
out. He's a lawyer, but yeah, he's an attorney. He's a
He should,
defense attorney. He talked about that. But there was someone you may have missed. I can't remember who what tribe it was. There were some people talking. I think it was by the water. Someone was doing a Tony, crawling around.
oh,
I can't
yeah.
remember what player that was, but I was laughing so hard, and they called him, and he starts laughing. I thought that was kind of cute. But I like the Sabaya
Sabaya, yeah, the
Yeah,
truck driver.
the Marine.
Yeah,
She's a former Marine.
she's tough.
She's a
She
tough cookie.
yeah,
I
she's
like
kinda
her.
got Cerie vibes on her.
Yeah, yeah. I've always Cerie's always been one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I know she's on actually Big Brother this year.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
actually. I
yeah, but
saw that.
and yeah, but I liked her. She just seems to be a hard work ethic. Jake kind of made me laugh. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's an attorney living with his he's kind of with his grandma. That's kind of cool though. He's helping his grandma. His grandma looked pretty cool in
He
that
kept
before
trying
picture.
to sound like he had, like, not a dark side, but, like, an antagonist, a villain type side,
Was that
and I'm
Jake or is that the one guy that the tall guy with the great glasses, Drew? I think
oh,
that was
Jake and
Drew.
Drew, both of them were trying to play that up.
Drew,
Drew
Drew
especially,
kind
though.
of Drew rubbed me the wrong way. He goes, "Yeah." First, I was thinking he might be another Carson or John Cochran. Then he started talking about I can be this and I can be that. I'm like, okay, this is a psycho guy. They need to sleep with their eyes, one eye open.
He
I'm like, what is
he
wrong with
he
him?
said he's the smartest person that's ever played Survivor.
I went,
Yeah, okay.
I laughed when he said that. But I mean, yes, maybe it's his personality, and he's just saying, "Hey, there are some people that I know go on the show, and they do say it." And that's why I even say there's a lot of people may hate someone like we might think Emily and her write ups. I put an article out on my page on the show about the while I was reading an article about the castaways. Some people go on the show and they could be the sweetest person in life, real life.
Yeah,
They get on that show, they're playing, they want to win. And I've had it happen like on Instagram and even the Survivor. I even say some of these people, and you see it later on, that's not who they are.
yeah,
And in the end, you have all the survivor community come together, and there's so most of them are friends, and they realize, yeah, it might be hurt feelings while you're playing the game, but once it's over, it's a game. And
yeah,
then they realize, okay, hey, this is who I am. I was playing the game, and I'm glad those people that can separate the game from reality. That's what I respected. I would do that if I could be nemesis with someone could end up being my best friend off Survivor because you're playing the game, you're being aggressive, you're trying to do it, you have that combativeness.
yeah,
I just wish people, because I see it on my page too much, people take too much to heart and they get the keyboard warrior and they say nasty things. And we're always
yeah,
on be respectful. There's no reason to talk like that. You can talk the game. Like you may not like someone. Like I don't like a few people. I say I'm not really thrilled with this person, but I'm not going to attack them. I say this is why, but we'll see how it goes. But you don't have to say nasty stuff. You don't have to be nasty to each other either. So I think I would love to be with the survivor because once you're on one of these shows, you're for life in it. Like you're talking about Big Brother,
yeah,
they do promos, they do all this other stuff. They're in it. They're in it for life.
yeah.
Except for Survivor season one winner who ended up in yeah, well, he's in it. I think he shows up. There's some Survivor players that have been banned from. I don't know all the names have been banned from the show, but I hope with the hour and a half show, it'll make more people happy because the hour goes by so fast, and you're thinking you blink and it's over. I liked the hour and a half. I think two might be pushing it a little bit too much for a lot of people, so I think they found a happy medium. So
Well,
let's see how it goes.
here's the I think the real catalyst for that. The writer's strike has ended. So my
Yes,
guess is this is our only 90-minute season. We're probably not going to get another 90-minute
you think?
episode. Yeah, well, I mean, unless the ratings are off the chart, you know what I mean. But I haven't looked at ratings yet, obviously. But I will
No.
be curious to see how this did versus some of the prior
Well,
seasons.
didn't they decide on the 90 minutes before the writer's strike? I thought they decided
Oh, you might be
before.
right. I don't
I
recall
think they
that.
did. I
Did
think
they
it was.
really?
I think we
You
could go
know,
back and research it, but I think a lot of people have been complaining. Can't you make it longer?
yeah.
So the dynamic of the show because they cut down the number of days.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they only still giving us an hour. We're like, okay, give us more. And I think they have to. You have your commercials. I mean, people pay mega bucks to have commercials, particularly on the higher ranked shows. Think about that. You're making money off that, and I can imagine the production costs. I know on my page, a lot of people say, "Why can't they go to other places than Fiji?" Yes,
Mhm.
they were Australia, they were in Africa, they're in other things. And I'll be honest with you, Ethan's all love him. He's on my page to his wife when I am back and forth, and one of my admins have done live interviews. Africa, I did not like where they were. I know
Yeah.
it just was
It
too
didn't feel
closed.
right.
It didn't
Yeah.
feel right.
Yeah, I
Now
agree.
Australia was pretty good. Australia I liked. I don't think Tina should have won. No, no, no. But Tina's still a sweetheart, and it was more of That's the way it goes. Sometimes you like the winners, sometimes you don't. But
I thought during the pandemic they would actually try, somewhere in the US or Alaska or something, you know what I mean? Just something a little bit because they were having so many issues with customs and all that. I'm fine with them staying on the
I
whatever
am too.
island they want to. Is
Yeah.
I mean, it's cheap to produce, relatively cheap. The ratings are still good enough. My concern though is that when you see them doing different things, it's almost like, okay, is this Jeff Probst getting bored? Let's do 90 minutes. Is this Jeff Probst getting bored? Let's do 29 days. And, not necessarily because of the pandemic. It seems like he interjects and includes himself more in the show now than he ever did in the past.
Yeah,
And
well,
I and you got to be look, not nothing can last forever. So you got to be wondering. I mean, if you're him, what keeps you motivated? And I look at Jeff Probst a lot like how I look at UFC president Dana White. I look at them as they've got more money than God, so it's not about money anymore, right? Legacy probably is important to them, but I think more than anything, it's those moments. Those
mhm,
moments, the knockouts. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
that's what. No matter how long you've been doing something, those are the moments you live for.
Mhm.
And but at some point, when do you when do you call it quits? And I don't know. If you would have told when I first walked across the country back in '09, I would have never predicted they would have made it to a 30th season. I think they were in season 20
Yeah.
back then. So the fact that they've made it, at this point, I see no reason why they won't make it to 50 because it's the
Yeah.
number is so
It
representative. You know what I mean?
I think there's no, and that's one thing I had a little note I want to ask you. I think they're gonna do something really crazy for the 50th.
Yeah, yeah, they have to. They have to. I don't know what.
That's huge. It's huge. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know what, but I agree. They will do some. It's probably like another Winners at War type thing. For like
Mhm.
season 40. If I had to guess, because by then
They'll
you'll
do
have
$3 million.
well,
$3 million.
and you'll have 20 new winners by then, right? 10 new
Yeah.
winners, two a season for 10 years. No,
Yeah.
what am I saying? Season 50, and what are we at right now? 45. Oh, sorry,
We're at
my
45.
math my math is really bad. Obviously, so we'd have like five new winners, basically, something like that.
Yeah.
By then.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's going to be big. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be. But it definitely is been around for a long time. I do like it. I mean, that's why I created the page, and it's I found a group of people that love to talk Survivor, and I've made some like Greg. I consider you a friend already. I mean,
Thank
just
you.
you're
Likewise.
just awesome, and my admin team, we're a family. I mean,
Yeah.
people from all over the country I don't even know I met, and we're family. We talk in our group chat. We very rarely talk Survivor now. It's just about all kinds of life stuff, and it's a wonderful. It's just wonderful. We do sometimes do FaceTiming and things, but it's more of you find yourself in the community, and there's a lot of really nice people, but I appreciate all that you're doing and you try to do. And just the Survivor staff should notice, and maybe should say, "Have you seen this guy? Keep submitting your application because you would be definitely great. You're interpersonal. I think you could. I think you would be strategic. You would zip your lip. I would hope you zip your lip because I'd be saying something to you afterwards. Why did you run your mouth?
I'll catch crap if I
I
don't. I
would
know,
be
but
saying, "What was wrong with you?" I would be saying, "Greg, no, don't do that."
I've always thought I could win the game literally any way. What I would want to do, truthfully, because I'm very much like a go hard or go home, and I'm very I like Survivor says they want people to take big chances.
Mhm.
Who's taking bigger chances than me? Who's risked their livelihood how many
I
times? You know what I mean?
know
So like so what I would want to do is talk to someone from production, and I would say, look, I know I can win. I believe. Forgive my arrogance for a minute here, but I believe I could win this game any way, whether it's a social game, whether it's a physical game, any way, you name it, I could do it. But I want a challenge. What's a way that you've never seen somebody win? What's something
yeah.
you've never thought you would see? Let
Ah,
me win it that way. I'll prove to you
yeah.
that I could do that. Because you see people all the time that they lie about their job
Yeah.
or whatever. Well, why can't I lie about my well, I don't know, my ethnicity. I don't know if I can lie about that. I'm pretty white, but like your gender. You're this. You're that. I mean,
You don't
how
you're
far are
you
they
know what?
willing to let somebody do that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's more politics playing into that.
Oh,
I have no idea. It's
CBS
definitely
marketing.
politics.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I think it's a good concept, and I've loved it from day one, and I will always continue to love it. It is my thing. And just seeing even the newer people coming into it on my private FB page, I always post every year, oh, Survivor's getting ready to start. Some of you may not know. There was one of my friends from high school. She said, wow, I'm going to check this out. And she actually posted on my page. I have never watched Survivor in my life, but she was interested in what I posted. Largest FB page, my 10-year anniversary. She actually started watching. She didn't go in order. See, I'm OCD. I'd have to go in order. But she goes, I decided to watch, I think it was like season 42. She goes, oh my God, I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
Ah,
I'm hooked. I gotta figure out what
yeah.
next season to watch. And she's, I'm in. I'm all in. And you want to try to bring the newer people out. Like in Facebook, I don't know if you're aware, the pages we get metrics. I have metrics. I can see the age ranges of people who are on my page. A lot of them more like the middle age and more females, but there are more younger people starting to join the
Huh.
page because as your page get bigger, I show up higher in the thing. And I don't advertise it. I'm not one. I grew my page by not going to another Facebook page and advertising. I grabbed it by my personal, by just posting my articles on, my page, more people joining, more people talking. I have survivor players, winners, all on my page. I mean, a bunch of them actually, and they post and their family members post. Some stay quiet. We respect it. We have a little spreadsheet of people we know are survivor players. They stay quiet. They don't post, but we will never say their names. There are other ones that are very active, and we're fine with that. And I
Let
always, my rule is, I don't care if the worst villain on the world is on my page. No one be disrespectful to them. They'll immediately be blocked because it's an honor to have it. Because my page did make news a couple years ago. Sandra, I love Sandra. She joined our page briefly, then pulled out because everybody started attacking her. And I went off on the page. I went, what
Huh.
did you thinking? We actually made national news.
Wow.
We
I
made
met her
national news
last season
that
actually.
oh, yeah, she is the coolest. I've always loved Sandra. I've always been an advocate, and I really ripped the page new one. We had and another. We lost another player that was really popular. I can't remember who it was. Oh, left because she left. And I'm like, why are you doing this? It's an honor. You may not have liked her player, but just for her to take the time to be on the page and like, I know you're big in the survivor community and you know a lot of people. The fact that you're taking the time to post. I know you post on other pages. I'm not, I'm a member of other pages. I'm not really active on them. It may pop up my feed because I'm too busy with my page, but there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's great that you're out there trying to get the word out, showing your enthusiasm. We got to bring more people in who want to love the page and the game. Well, they love the
Well,
game.
let's face it, if people don't come in, there's no show. You know
No,
what I mean? Because
exactly.
they're
Hmm.
that's it's just as simple as that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Let me ask you this: from so
Hmm.
if anybody's just now joining us that didn't catch this, Robin is the admin and the creator for the largest private Survivor Facebook fan
Hmm.
page, right? Did I get all
Right.
that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You got
Okay.
it.
So when you were saying just a second ago, you were talking about the metrics you can see.
Yeah.
Are you able to see what part of the country people are watching from,
Yes.
or ethnicities, or
I know we have people all over the world, and it actually tells me how many people per country. Let me look up. I'm on my phone right now looking at my metrics. Hold on,
I'm
where are my
I'm
metrics?
really curious um on the ethnicity aspect because
I
Survivor,
don't know if they have
after
that.
the all the George Floyd stuff, they made a very conscious effort to start making it more minority friendly. And I mean, you can tell by this cast, there are quite a few minorities compared to, well, every season they do now, but that doesn't really help me out. I'm Caucasian mixed
Okay,
with more Caucasian, but it used to be like I remember when I'd watch it with my grandma. I'd say, "Grandma, was it the blonde girl with the curly hair?" No, no, it was a blonde girl with short hair. The blonde short haired curly girl? No, the blonde short haired curly long haired girl. It's like they were all the same person. You couldn't tell them apart. Now you can, there's so many
I had a
different
fall.
nationalities. You can tell them apart.
Okay, I just pulled up my metrics. I just want to say congratulations because where did my metrics go? Wait a minute, hold on. No, I want to say congratulations. I mean, you are a top contributor this week. Let me go to my group again. My phone went down. My iPad went down. Hold on, that's why you went up and saw my ceiling. Wait a minute, where's my
It's a very nice ceiling, by the way.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, we're gonna do a remodel in the house, so it'll
Yeah,
be not that potato.
I
Hold
just
on.
redid all mine actually. I
Oh yeah. Well, I'm
vaulted the ceilings.
retiring November 17th from Social Security. Only
Congratulations!
58, 40 years in, and I
Wow.
just they where the heck? Hold on, I just had it. Where's my metrics? You had made insights. Here it is. I had to grab it. Okay, membership. Okay, for the August 30th through September 27th, The top 3 contributors, you're number 2.
Wow. Who's number one?
Joe Sardadrea, 11 posts.
Joe, meet me outside, buddy.
You need to beat him up. And
Yeah.
Armando Junior Cervantes is third, but you are, yeah, he had 11 posts, 72 comments. You had 20 posts, but 10 comments. So he beat you out on comments. You need to take him
Yeah, I
behind
need
the
to be more
barn.
active. I need to engage people more.
Yeah. No, you go right on. Now, gender, we have 76.1% women,
Oh my God.
men 23.6, and custom 0.03. I guess they have another option. And I'm looking at the age ranges. Now, the age ranges, the biggest range is, oh my gosh, oh my God, 55 to 64,
Huh.
18 to 20, 10 to 17 is the lowest, 18 to 24 is second. Oh, actually, 25 to 34 is higher than 35 to 44. 45 to 54 is second place. 55 to 64 and 65 plus is fourth place. And they had the top countries. Well, United States 50,927. I can see all. Oh gosh, we have a bunch of them. Canada, Australia, Philippines, South Africa, Fiji, 276.
Oh,
United
hey,
Kingdom.
now hold on a second. Think about that for just a second.
Okay.
You know what that could be? What most of those people probably are?
I wonder if
Cast
it's.
members. It's
I
producers.
wonder.
Because if you think about it, if that's where they're watching it from, they want to. If you're a good casting director and you've got your ear to the ground, you better believe they're in your group every day, seeing what fans are thinking. Did they like this? Did they like that? Did they? You know what I mean?
Well,
You're a free focus group for them.
right. Well, you gotta remember though, this is based on Fiji, based on, your Facebook page, where you're from. I don't know if the people who work on Survivor would put that they live in Fiji though.
Oh, so that's what it's based on.
It's based on like I list I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, even I'm Glen Burnie. So yeah, Australia is large. Canada's second. We're at
Huh?
50,009. I'll have to I'll snapshot the metrics and send it to you so
That's
we can talk.
interesting.
But
That's
yeah,
really interesting.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, but no, they don't have anything about ethnicity on here. Oh, they have the top cities. Oh, guess what the top cities? I haven't looked in here a while. New York is the top city.
I could have guessed that. Actually, I would have thought L.A. because
Actually, LA's not even on the top 10.
remember that's where
Melbourne,
they got all their.
Australia is the second top. Wow.
Huh. You should
Chicago's third. Huh.
for fun, you should post
What?
those in your group because
I do
people would
occasionally.
probably they would be really interested to see some of that. Because I mean,
I do that.
you're such an interesting kind of like focus group of the, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I
that
have
data's
actually
worth
done that
something.
before. I've done that before. They also have something popular days of posting. Most popular day of posting right now is on Mondays, but now that the season started, I'm sure we'll get Wednesdays.
Oh
And
yeah.
you know what's really funny about this whole page? My admin team and I, when something happens during the show on Wednesdays, now that we're starting back up, if something controversial happen, we'll just our admin chat will go, oh, it's going to be a nightmare because
Uh
people get mad and then we're battling and because people don't realize I have only like five or six people in my admin. They think we never sleep. And I always having to post. Oh, you probably don't see. We do have lives. I do have a job, believe it or not. Even when we're retiring, I'm going to have things. But we dive on here for 24/7. We ask people help us report content. Send us an IM. Report content's the best thing because we know exactly what the post is and we can go to it, and nobody else knows but us. But I swear, every time there's something controversial happens, we know we go. This is going to be a rough couple days because the page blows up, and then people fighting. People call each people names, bad names. We're like, what is wrong with you?
yeah.
Why? It's why.
You
But
know,
no,
I
I
don't
will
even
definitely post the stats. I'll post them. Yeah.
thank you for that. I don't even think we said during this whole live stream yet who got voted out.
Oh, no,
did
we did.
did we actually say?
No,
Well, spoiler alert.
we did. Spoiler
So
alert.
tonight, unfortunately, there was no vote out because
Nope.
Hannah needed her nicotine more than she needed this
And
experience
food. She talked
and
about food a
food.
lot. She talked
Yeah.
about food at her couch.
So Hannah's gone. She did not get voted out. She quit. But I feel pretty confident in saying that if she would not have gone home, would you agree with me that they would have voted out Emily?
I think they would have voted out Emily, but I don't know necessarily if she quit. She didn't just say, I quit. Jeff did ask, okay, if they didn't go back and vote, what would you do, everyone? Because there have been some survivor juries where
You're right.
someone begged them to go.
Yeah.
begged them to go, and they kept that person.
Yeah.
Jeff asked them, "Okay, you've all heard this. What do you want to do?"
So what
And
was
they
it? If they're
said,
not
"We're going
voted
to."
out and they didn't quit, what's it called?
They got voted out. They actually, she didn't. Well, with it, remember the people who quit. Jeff throws their torch down on the ground. He snuffed out her torch.
Oh, I
So
didn't see
they
that.
all agreed. Oh yeah, they snuffed out. He snuffed out her torch. Whenever anyone quits, Jeff goes, "You don't deserve to have your torch," and he lays it on the ground. So all
I have to
quitters.
rewatch that. I missed that.
No, she was
Huh.
snuffed. How you know he despises the quitters? That torch goes right down on the ground, and it should be because you know what? You could quit or you could talk. Say, guys, please vote me out. There have been some people saying, "I quit." They don't even talk it out. They were talking to her. They said, "Well, what do you think?" She said, "Well, I really do want to go. I do
It
want
kind
to go. I
it
wish
kind of
you'd vote
came
me."
out of nowhere though. Like I didn't. It's like what happened to her that was so bad?
I
You
don't
know?
know. I think well the first part she seemed doing pretty good, but before the vote happened, she started talking to people. She goes, she didn't realize what I guess what it's gonna be like, even though we talked earlier. You should know what this game's gonna be like. But she said, look, I keep thinking about food. All I'm thinking about is food, food, food. I want to eat, have hardly had anything to eat. She didn't really actually talk about nicotine toward the end of the show. She
Yeah.
mentioned, she goes, I want to be on my couch, I want to be comfort. Of course, she can't go home. She goes back to the luxury
Yeah,
resort all
exactly.
the time. But she has a couch and she has nice food because that resort, I wish they would do an episode. I know on YouTube they have, you know, whatever the camp, whenever anyone,
Ponderosa.
the Ponderosa, I can't remember they put how
Yeah.
actually Ponderosa. They should have like one episode, like a special episode, a day in Ponderosa actually air on CBS. I think people would love that. But she didn't. She wasn't talking about nicotine. Yeah, she mentioned in the beginning it was more of I'm hungry, I want my couch, and I don't think she expected it to be as bad as it was.
Yeah.
So that is why, and she when she was in the thing, she just looked at them and she goes, I don't want to be here. She didn't say I quit because Jeff said, "Do you want to quit?" And she goes, "Well, I really don't want to be here." But she was looking at everyone, and Jeff said,
Yeah.
"What do you want to do, tribe? Do you want to vote her out? Or you want to move on and still," because they might have taken Emily or Brandon out. I think
Yeah.
Emily would have gone because people despise her right now. They
Yeah.
even said earlier on the episode the cohesiveness of the team is being impacted by one person. The
Yeah.
negativity. They kept going. She's negative about nothing is right. You can't. She could be the best physical player in the world. She could be like, I'm winning everything, but that negativity drowns you and you don't want to be around and it brings the whole team down. So I think if Hannah didn't ask was Emily. Wait, Hannah didn't ask that, Emily would have been gone. I think they would have
Yeah.
kept our boy that's almost died 4 times in the
I
first.
I agree with that assessment totally. I'm gonna have to go back and watch Hannah Rose's casting audition video and see
Yeah.
if they saw something that I just didn't see, or if they literally are like, okay, this girl's a mark. She's gonna be, you know what I mean? Because they might have done that. I don't know, but
It could be. It's
um,
that dynamic's interesting.
yeah. Before we end this here, I do want a prediction from you. Survivor, by all counts, is doing well. It's been
Mhm,
around for a long time. If Jeff no longer does the show, especially considering he's an executive producer,
mhm.
does the show end or they bring someone else on?
I honestly believe, due to the popularity of the show, if they bring the right host, it'll continue. It would have to be. I know there's talk of, hey, Boston Rob, or I'm a
That's
big
what I was just
Boston
gonna
Rob
say.
fan. I'm a huge Boston Rob fan. If they bring back the right person, it would work. But I think minus Jeff, the fact that they have the show, it's a good dynamic. They would just have to bring in the right person for it. I think it would go on. I don't think they would shut. That's a moneymaker. I think what they would do is say, okay, Jeff's gone. Let's interview people. Let's find someone, and they would at least give it a shot. Because if you don't give it a shot, you're thinking,
Yeah.
well, why didn't I do it? Because you never know. You could bring someone. You. It's like you look at Kelly Ripa. You know now you know, she's gone through host and it still goes strong, that talk show. And other things, TV shows, cast members leave, Grey's Anatomy, people leave. The show still goes on because they bring people in that you start getting interested in, you know, and you're okay, I'm going to buy into this person. I truly think that it would continue. I don't know for how much longer. They got to be smart in their decisions.
Yeah.
But if they keep the gameplay, pick the right people, I like the fact that they're changing challenges. I so want them to bring back the food competitions. That's big on our page. The yucky, when they were doing the
Oh, yeah,
blender.
absolutely,
Why don't they bring
absolutely.
that back? It's
I
like
couldn't agree more.
we love that. And then you
Yeah,
watch like, oh, they're in the eyeball. They're doing that.
yep,
But I don't know why. Now I know the big thing about the car. Remember a couple years ago, the jinx of the car. If you ever won a
yes,
car, you never win Survivor. Look at
yeah,
Australia.
yeah.
Colby didn't win. I thought Kobe had that locked and loaded, but he was a sweet guy. He and Tina, definitely are buddies. But I don't know if they'll bring that back, but definitely the eyeball stuff and the blender stuff and that.
Well, thank you. That was a great answer to a controversial question, and only time will tell how that
Yep.
plays out. But any last second things or anything else you want to say before we get off here?
No, I appreciate you bringing me in last minute for the special guest star. Thank you, and
Thank
thank
you.
you if the special guest star is partying right now. But thank you,
Yeah, if
special
he's
guest
watching, by
star.
the way.
Oh, he's watching. Hey, hey, special guest star. I didn't talk too much about you.
Yeah.
I
Well,
did tell him the story about how you submitted your resume via IM to be an admin. So I love that. That touched my heart so much. And that special star coming on, he's very special. I actually
awesome.
consider him actually, he's old enough to be my son. Yeah, you actually consider him to be he's family, and I love him to death. And you know,
Well,
my thoughts are thank you very much, and I enjoyed it, and I love talking the show. If you ever want me back on, I'll come on. I'll hopefully I met your expectations.
and then some, and then some. You were so knowledgeable, and just I just love that additional perspective, and being an admin of the largest Facebook Survivor fan page is just you have such an interesting perspective that we don't always get to see or
Mhm.
hear because let's face it, there's only one page creator of the
Yeah,
biggest group. You know what I mean? There's
yeah,
only one of
yeah,
certain things. Like,
yeah.
there's a lot of different things in the world. There's a lot of different flavors of chips, but there's only one first, and I really appreciate you being my first and just being so
Oh,
knowledgeable. And let me also say thank you for your hard work as an admin because
oh,
people that have never run a page before, they have no clue.
you.
I mean, you are essentially you're the judge, the jury, the executioner. You know what I mean? You're
My
the
whole
whole government. You know what I mean? You're waterworks. You're the electric company. You're you're
And
the
you have to be
editor. The
Switzerland. We have to be Switzerland. I tell my admin team, we have to be Switzerland. We may want to boot that person because we just don't like what they said about our player, but we can't be. We have to post. We can post. I post. But when you're going through, look at the rules, and we've grumbled on page. I really want to boot this person, but I know I can't because they didn't. And so they vent in the admin chat. We vent in admin chat. If y'all could read some of our admin chats, what stays in admin chat stays in admin chat, and then they get it out of their system, and we move on. But no, I appreciate. I didn't realize this was your first live stream. So hey, that's an
Yeah,
honor.
yeah,
Thank
this is my
you.
first I've never done, like, a live recap show or anything like that. I'm just trying
You
to be a
need to
fan this
advertise
year,
that.
and
Advertise it on my page next time.
yeah.
Next time you're gonna have your just throw it on my page. You have permission. I usually when people do certain things now, the Survivor cast members they do a lot of volunteer work and also save the world or whatever. They have automatic. They can post things like that because I know they're Survivor players. You have permission to post these live chats. Hey, you're doing a live chat. You have permission because we're talking Survivor. And one thing I don't allow people to advertise their Facebook pages because I figured I never did that to grow mine. And I found earlier on people were starting to jump on. And the only thing they would post repeatedly their page, and they were
Oh,
using my base to get it.
yeah.
So I am across the board. I think you know my rules. I
Yeah.
have it on there. No, but the YouTube videos, I don't mind people posting their YouTube videos. I don't have a rule about that. I'm definitely cool. Please, please feel free. Please post
I
that.
really, really, really appreciate that because you never know, who's out there and who's going to see the right thing at the right time.
Yep.
And yeah, it's being an admin is often thankless.
Mm,
So I just want to thank you for giving everyone that outlet and a chance to grow the community and a chance to share something that we all love with each other. Because I'm a firm believer that love or unconditional love and forgiveness are two of life's greatest
yep.
gifts.
Amen.
And you've shown that many times as an admin over the last 10 years. So
Yeah. Well, I got a
congratulations
great
on
team.
that.
I got a great team. I
Yeah.
couldn't make this because I do work long hours. Those guys are phenomenal. I pay them well. That's an inside because they don't get paid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where's the
So,
check? But they're
so
wonderful.
for the record, and I wanted to tell you this, I told my other, hopefully next week's special guest the same thing. So my YouTube channel is not monetized. I don't have enough watch hours. I do have enough followers. I'm close. But once you get monetized, people can send like chats and
Oh,
stickers and
yeah,
super
yeah.
stuff. Like I was watching Russell Hantz the other night,
Oh, yeah.
and I sent him $1 just to see what would happen. And right after that, like 30 people sent him like $10. I was like, oh my god! So
Oh
I
my
would have
gosh.
happily split the money with you had we made any tonight. But
No, I would
um,
never ask that. This is your
well,
YouTube channel. I
no, no.
don't and I will definitely, just throw your things up on there. I know you post your thing. Go ahead. You have my permission to do it because you're not one of those fly by night things.
I've been
I'm
here for
very
way
particular.
too long.
Yes, you have.
I'm a
Well, my
dinosaur.
super special, like I am, my super special guest star that's going to be coming. He knows you are legit. It's like
Well,
you are
thank you.
legit. You're in the survivor community. Go ahead and post your links to your page because people will go to them because you have the assessments and your walk, particularly those assessments. Please throw them back up. Well, I don't know if you've done it. I had a busy work day today.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
close to retiring, like I said, and I've been getting ready, and where potential furlough is going to happen, so I'm having to deal with that. So,
yeah. Well, Robin, I will tell you this: I would be honored if Jeff quits the show and you take over as host. And until then, I hope you can be my special guest again on
yeah,
another date.
ask me.
And we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.